I'm a 27-year-old woman, and I had been in a relationship with my 28-year-old boyfriend for just over a year and a half. We recently moved in together, started splitting bills, and things seemed to be going smoothly, at least on the surface. Here's where things get complicated. I have a best friend, also 28 and male, who I've known since I was 19. We used to be super close, roommates in college, shared groceries, laundry days, weed, and late-night talks. Back then, we also used to sleep together, but that part ended years before I ever started dating my boyfriend. Since then, it's been strictly platonic. We still text during work hours, sometimes, and FaceTime, maybe every couple weeks, nothing more than that. But my boyfriend never liked him from the beginning. He thought it was strange that I had such a close male friend. Even though he never explicitly told me not to talk to him, there was always this unspoken tension. Anytime I mention calling or meeting up with my best friend, I get passive-aggressive comments or a cold shoulder. I kept telling him he needed to trust me and be more secure, that I wasn't doing anything wrong. The tipping point came one night when I told him I was going to FaceTime my best friend because he was having family issues. My boyfriend didn't object right away, but went into the kitchen and stayed there. About 20 minutes into the call, he came back and asked if I could hang up. I said no. He called me disrespectful for doing that in front of him. The next day, he brought it up again. He said he overheard my best friend calling me baby on the call and that it really bothered him. I told him it was just a nickname, that my best friend always called me that, and I sometimes called him Bubs. It didn't mean anything. My boyfriend insisted that if it truly meant nothing, I should just ask him to stop. I told him he was being dramatic, and even said he sounded pathetic. When he got like that, he got quiet and said it was disappointing that I couldn't see his side, that he would never call a female friend something like that while in a relationship. He also pointed out that I probably wouldn't be okay if roles were reversed. I pushed back, saying that it wasn't the same. There were no feelings involved. He didn't say anything else that night, but things started shifting. He became distant, started cooking just for himself, going to bed early, and only talking when absolutely necessary. When I finally asked if he was going to keep acting like that, he said he was thinking about some things. I pressed him, and he said he wasn't sure he could stay in a relationship where he didn't feel respected or prioritized. I thought he was blowing everything out of proportion. I've never cheated. I've never even flirted with anyone else since we got together. I wasn't about to cut my best friend out of my life just to appease his insecurities. But things didn't get better. Whenever I tried to bring it up again, he'd shut down or just walk away. I love him. I really wanted it to work. But I also didn't want to be in a relationship where I'm being controlled. And then everything changed. 3 weeks later, he moved out. He packed up over the course of 2 days, said goodbye, and left. That was it. I haven't heard from him since. But I feel like I owe an explanation for what led to that. A week after the big FaceTime argument, he brought up again, only this time, calmly. He asked me straight up if anything physical had happened between me and my best friend since we got together. I said no. Then he asked if we'd even kissed since becoming official. Again, I said no, but I was lying. I couldn't sleep that night. The guilt was eating at me. The truth was, we had slept together twice after I started seeing my boyfriend. The first time was over a year ago during a weird in-between period in our relationship. We were technically official, but things were uncertain. I had been drinking heavily and partying a lot. One night after happy hour, I ended up at my best friend's place. One thing led to another, and we had sex. I didn't even sleep over. The next morning, I felt weird about it, but I told myself it wasn't that bad. It happened again 6 months later. That time, I wasn't drunk. I'd had a fight with my boyfriend and was feeling low and disconnected. I wanted to feel good, to feel something. I went to my best friend's place and stayed the weekend. There was drinking and there was sex. After that, I knew I had to stop. I told my best friend we couldn't do that anymore. I kept talking to him, but the physical part ended. The next morning, after I couldn't sleep, I sat my boyfriend down and confessed everything. I told him I hadn't been honest, that we had slept together twice, but it hadn't happened in a long time. I tried to explain the context, that it wasn't love, it wasn't emotional cheating, it was just bad choices. I told him I was sorry, that I wanted to be with him, and that it would never happen again. He just looked at me and said, "I knew it." Then he walked out. He was gone for 6 hours. When he came back, he didn't talk to me, just slept on the couch. The days that followed were awful. He didn't speak. He didn't even look at me. On the third day, I broke down and begged him to talk. I told him I'd go to therapy, do whatever it took. That's when he finally spoke. He said, "I'm not staying in something like this. You lied to me for almost a year." I tried to defend myself. I said I didn't love my best friend. I said it didn't mean anything. I said I was scared and didn't know how to come clean. He just asked me one question. If it didn't mean anything, why did you keep him in your life after sleeping with him while you were with me? I had no answer. I didn't know what to say. I told him we were friends before anything else, and I didn't want to lose that friendship. He just looked at me and said, "So you were okay losing your relationship?" Got it. And that was it. He packed his things and left the next day. Said he'd send someone to pick up the rest of his stuff. Since then, I haven't heard from him. He unfollowed me on everything, even blocked me on some platforms. I checked in with a mutual friend to see if he was all right. The friend said he's staying with his cousin and doesn't want to talk. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I really thought that if I just told him the truth, explained everything, things could somehow go back to normal. But they didn't. He walked away just like that. And what hurts the most is that he didn't even try to fight for us. He just left. I messed up. I lied. I let someone stay in my life who had already crossed a line. I thought I could handle it, keep things calm, avoid drama. I convinced myself that as long as I wasn't sleeping with my best friend anymore, I was still being a decent partner. But now I'm sitting here alone in this apartment, and none of those justifications mean anything. It all feels hollow. The thing I keep circling back to is how much I miss my boyfriend. But at the same time, I can't imagine cutting off my best friend either. And I don't even know what that says about me. I just know he's really gone. I don't think he's coming back. Also, don't worry. I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm not in that kind of place. My best friend's still around, keeping me company, winking through the chaos.